So my name is Miss Buttazoni, for any of you who don't know me or haven't had me in the past. So starting off for this year's UMatter week, I have a story to share, and many of you who were here last year know the story that I shared about my mother, Nancy Buttazoni. She passed in September of 2015 due to breast cancer, and I had the joy and pleasure of remembering her up here with all of you and sharing those moments that meant so much to me. But I wanted to focus on something else this year and share a different piece of myself that I typically haven't shared with as many of my students. And that's the story of my sister, my youngest sister, Sophia. So when my mom was going through all of this illness and this battle with cancer, I was away at college, and my two sisters were at home. They were still in high school, and Sophia took on a very big caregiver role. She was giving shots to my mom. She was cleaning out wounds. She was draining the drains for her mastectomy. She was there, and it put a big strain on her, and more so than some of the rest of us, I think. And that's one of the reasons that I believe that when our mom passed, she turned to other substances to help her cope. So she turned to drugs, and she turned to alcohol, and she was doing a lot to put herself out of our lives and distance herself a little bit, and it was really painful. It was really painful to have to experience that as somebody who loved her, as her sister, as somebody who wanted to be in her life. And as a result of that, on October 9th of 2016, she was involved in a major car crash that involved drunk driving. It was a car with 5 people. She was in the passenger seat. She sustained the second worst set of injuries. This house drove off the road into a property, into the side of a garage, was airborne briefly. And though she was not the one driving, it was our car, and she was held responsible. So in addition to fractures in her spine that required screws and rods, she also faced criminal charges. And we went through the very long and painful process of dealing with the court system, and she was sentenced to a year in jail with 2 felony charges for allowing somebody intoxicated to drive a vehicle that resulted in injury and that also resulted in the death of a passenger sitting in the back seat who was in a coma for 2 months before he passed. I sat in the courtroom when my sister was sentenced, somebody who I grew up with, somebody who I played Barbies with, somebody who drove with me in the car when I first got my license. Like, this is somebody who was there for me and who I intended on seeing in every stage of my life and who I wanted there. And I was there when we got the call at the hospital when she was wrecked, and I was really afraid that I wasn't just going to lose my mom, I was also going to lose a sister, and I wouldn't have her when I grew up and when I got old, and it was really, really, really challenging. It's been challenging for her, and she's now dealing with a lot of implications that some of these things have left her with. She's doing a lot better. She has 2 jobs now, but she constantly has the perception that others kind of put on her because of these past mistakes, and it's really hard, and it's making her life difficult, and it makes me upset as her sister to have her go through this and to try to be there for her when I know that this is an impossible situation. Because that judge who sentenced her and those other people in court who told us that she was going to hell, that she had brought something terrible among her children who had made the same decision that she did, it was painful because they didn't know my sister, who, when she was 4 years old, was hospitalized for a month for transverse myelitis. They didn't know my sister, who was kind to everyone and who went out of her way to pick up a coffee or something, even if it was you just weren't feeling it that day. And I feel that it's important to tell this story for 2 reasons. One, because obviously some of our consequences sometimes can have a lot of unintended effects that really can cause some lasting damage, and also because for somebody who was on the outside, You might think that you're just hurting you, but speaking from my own experience, that's not the case. Chances are there are people that love you and care about you, and it's never just going to be you that you're impacting. People want to help you, people want to be there for you, and kind of get you out of that. So my hope and goal here is that reach out. Reach out if you need it. Reach out if you need to talk to somebody. Know that I'm somebody who understands and has been in this position and has had to deal with these sorts of things, and that it is okay. So thank you so much for allowing me to share this second part of my journey with you all, and I hope that you're able to take something away from it.